Hi, this is Abul Hussain coming to you direct from London, the United Kingdom, and welcome to another episode of the SMMA Mastermind podcast, where we discuss how you can start or scale your digital marketing agency. And we also bring on subject matter experts to help upskill us so that we can grow our businesses and deliver better results for our clients. Now, if you are watching this episode outside of our Facebook group, make sure to find the link above or below this video, or go to smmamastermind.com, especially if you're in the agency community and you want to network with 2,500 like-minded individuals. Now, with that out of the way, I have a very special guest joining me all the way from California, and he helps six-figure agencies get to seven figures through processes, automation, and so many other wonderful, magical stuff. And we're going to discover about all of that in a minute. Franbeau Beduya, the co-founder, shall I say, of agency Rocket Fuel. Welcome to the show.
Abul, thanks so much, man. You have such a good audience and good thing going on here. So it's an honor to be here.
Thank you very much for giving up your time to come and share your wisdom with us. Now, for the people who might not know who you are, how about a little bit of an introduction?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the co-founder of Agency Rocket Fuel, where we help, marketing agencies scale to seven figures, like what you said. We help a lot of clients that are doing about 10K a month up to 250K a month, right, in their revenues. And really the main issue that they have is really their operation bottlenecks, right? So they're really good at sales, they're good at marketing, but they have an issue trying to scale that up because every time they go to the next level, it's just unsustainable. Like they just have a hard time trying to get to that next level. And we also run an agency ourselves. So my co-founder, Reynard, he's not here today, but he runs an advertising agency in the e-com space. So we actively run that as well. So, we're not just some kind of agency coach teaching others, but we're also running our agency right now.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome. So, I mean, how did you get into this? I suppose, how did Agency Rocket Fuel come about? What's the story there?
Dude, 100% by accident. I feel like the idea of Agency Rocket Fuel came from a Google document somewhere, right? Where it's like, it was literally a comment on one of the Google documents that we had. But just to get a little bit of background, like I have a degree in industrial engineering. So it's the branch of engineering that deals with systems and operations, but mostly for like manufacturing companies, right? I did not follow that path. Literally, like after graduating college, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a freelancer. I'm going to run ads. That's what I'm going to do. Then I realized that a lot of the principles that I learned right in industrial engineering could be applied right to digital marketing and systems and all that. So while we were running our agency back then, and we had a couple niches that we were in e-com, we were in real estate. So it was like two different niches, right? We had a couple of agency friends of ours who, they were struggling with operations. And so we're like, yeah, let's help you out for free, right? So we did that and realized, well, maybe there's a market for this. So let's try to, get a couple clients on, see if we can help them with their systems and operations. And we really tried to deviate from what everyone else was doing, where everyone else was teaching sales and marketing, because that's important. But it's like, there's a lot of people doing that already. So we'd rather kind of be in this other side of the business, right? So it was really just by accident, where it's like we were doing for ourselves. Our friends saw it. They were like, can you do this for us? Like, we did it for free. Obviously, we couldn't do that for free forever. So we were like, yeah, let's start charging for this. So
yeah. Okay, that's awesome. So I suppose in terms of what you deliver for your clients, what are you actually doing for them? What do they get from engaging with you guys?
Well, let's backtrack here a little bit. All right. So I was speaking. So I met with two of our clients literally like yesterday. That's why I'm here in Huntington Beach. But I think there's this notion and I'm curious to hear your thoughts, Abul, but there's this notion in, the agency space where it's like, everyone just wants to get rich quick, like really fast. They just want to get to that, right? Like, do you see that?
Thank 𝗘𝗏𝟐 for that. I hope he doesn't sue me, but yeah, I mean, he coined SMMA, I think.
Yeah. I mean, dude, if that's your ambition, good for you, man. Like, go ahead, do it. But the downside to that is if you scale too fast, you got to remember that an agency is a done for you service. You still have to deliver the service to your clients.
Exactly.
And so two things happen, right? You scale too fast and you realize, well, I actually can't fulfill on this. So you get a lot of refunds, the quality of your life starts to degrade. And the industry in general just starts to have this negative kind of, notion to it, where it's like, well, there's a lot of people scamming people there, right? So
absolutely.
that's the issue that we're seeing. So kind of like what we do is we tell clients, well, wait a minute, slow down a little bit. You don't have to get rich quick right away. You don't have to get to 10K a month by tomorrow. The best way to do this is to really slow down, right? You get 2 or 3 clients, you deliver the service, you create a system around that. Okay, once that's ready, okay, you move on to the next level. Okay, because issues are always going to come up. Every time you get clients, issues are going to come up. So what we do is we put the right fulfillment processes in place, right? A predictable fulfillment process, making sure that everything's automated. Kind of like one of our core beliefs is that there are certain tasks that a computer is much better at doing at, and there's also tasks that people should be doing. So we try to make that distinction and put that into a system, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I suppose your focus is primarily on the back end once someone has acquired the customer, and you're not setting up systems for appointment setting and lead generation, or do you do that as well?
No, that's a great question. We try to make that distinction where it's like, there's so many other people out there, right, who will teach you how to generate leads, who will teach you how to sell. We're not gonna be we're not gonna be that types of guy, right? So we're gonna be here on the other side where it's like we're building the fulfillment systems. So I'll give you an example, right? Typically an agency, when they speak to a client, they create a contract, they download a document somewhere, they put it in sign request DocuSign, and they put all the fields and all that. It takes time. I mean, it might take 30 minutes, 10 minutes, but if you keep doing that every single day, it adds up, right? So one of the automations that we build, we call it the pre-enrollment automation. You just fill up a form right after you do a sales call. The automation will send, right, that contract with everything that you need on the field automatically to the client, and that'll take you a minute. So if you take 30 minutes and we save you 29 minutes, that adds up, right? So these are like the efficiencies that we kind of put in place for clients.
Right. Okay. Now that makes sense. And I mean, do you guys offer any white labeling? So on the fulfillment side, do you have a team that helps with the fulfillment, or are you more focused on helping agency owners put in the processes themselves?
So right now we don't do white label fulfillment, right? And we kind of lean towards building an in-house team. Obviously, if you're starting out, or if it's that's not really, if you can't do that right now, then yeah, white label is a good option. But we don't really give out the white label fulfillment team. We do have people in our network though that we can kind of connect people to, but we don't do that. Yeah.
Okay, so I suppose, what are the common issues that you find with agencies who are struggling with fulfillment beyond signing too many clients too quickly? What are the common pitfalls?
Yeah, so I like to think of agencies, and by the way, this isn't just like paid ads, right? Agencies,
Right.
You could do SEO, you could do blog, you could do whatever, right? There's 2 parts to this, right? There's the launch phase where it's like you just getting a client set up with whatever it is that they bought the service for, and then there's also the ongoing optimization phase, right? So if you're running Facebook ads, maybe you're setting it up, you get to a acceptable cost per lead. With the nature of Facebook, cost per lead goes up, so now you have to optimize. So there's 2 phases, right? A lot of agencies focus on the first part. They have a system for it, right? They know how to set it up. They've probably taken a course or 2. they have all the ads set up.
Yeah.
But then they forget to realize that life happens and marketing isn't set in stone. Like, you're gonna have competitors and stuff like that, and right, and your cost per lead is gonna go up or whatever, or ROAS, right? Then they realize, oh shoot, I don't have a system for optimization or ongoing maintenance. And that's where a lot of the issues come, where it's like people start a refund, they don't know what to do, they go on Facebook groups and all of that. So I think that's a core issue, that if you're an agency owner, if you really want to get to that next level, spend some time on that ongoing optimization part of your business, because it's gonna happen, right? Like, your results are gonna tank, and you need to have the right system to fix that.
Right. Okay. And I suppose, I mean, surely someone thinking through this logically would think, well, maybe I'll just hire someone to work on their account throughout the month, and that solves that problem. I mean, or is that too simplistic of a view?
Dude, if you have 2 or 3 clients, yeah, that's fine, right? But if you're gonna get to 7 figures, you're gonna have a lot of clients. And so what I like to, and you can always hire an expert, right, to help you out with the ongoing optimization. But there's just a lot of agency owners out there that they get into this industry just because of the lifestyle of it. And obviously you can have it, right? But it has to be earned.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I saw this post from this other program. They do like done for you, like they'll help you build an agency basically, right? And this guy comments and he says, I want more information about this program. I love sales, but I hate ads and marketing. And I was like, I didn't say anything, right? I was like, wait, so you want to run a business that provides ads and marketing for clients, but you hate the very thing that you're going to get into.
Exactly.
Right. So you can hire people for sure, but I personally, just in my opinion, and I'm curious to know what you think, but I think there has to be a little bit of passion in it. Like if you really enjoy, right?
No,
because
absolutely.
What do you think? What do you think?
No, I totally agree with you there. Look, I mean, a lot of people that I speak to, I'm like, look, I've been doing this for the last 14 years. This is my career, right? I didn't watch a YouTube video or I didn't buy a course and I didn't jump into this. You know, I used to work in an agency before I went off and did my own thing. But I think most of the people, you know, I think you find in the market, there's dreamers and there's doers. And most of the market is full of dreamers who basically want to get rich quick or make some quick money. And there are some other people who think, okay, I need to start a side hustle whilst running my full-time job. And they do this the right way and they start investing some time and you know, kind of trying to build an actual business, and their mentality is very different, especially when you kind of come across them on Facebook, I suppose. So in terms of the service that you provide your clients, how does it actually work? You know, you come in, you do some sort of an audit, or, you know, what happens next?
Sure. So we have 5 pillars in the program, right? So the first one is obviously the systems audit, right? We try to extract as much information as we can from the agency owner. One of the issues that we also see is that most business owners, the business is stuck in their head, right? And so that's why they become like that chief everything officer, because everyone's trying to, like get information from you. Well, the very first step that we need to do is get that business onto paper, right? So it just extract as much information as we can. Now from there, we'll pretty much have clarity on like how the business runs. We move on to like what we call as mission control. So this is where we build the onboarding automation, the project management setup. We want to take businesses to a point where it's like every time they onboard a client, everyone knows exactly what they need to do, right? The steps that they need to take, when the tasks are due, who is it assigned to, right? All of that has to be crystal clear if you really want to get to that next level, right? The third thing that we kind of help clients through is what we call the business manifesto. It's really just a fancy term for like, we're going to organize your life. Because like oftentimes, you'll see notes in Evernote, in Apple Note, in Google Doc, and it's like it's everywhere, right? And although that's such a, it's such a minute thing, but people start to suffer from contextual switching. I think that's what the word is, right? So basically, we'll create your SOPs, we'll organize your files just so everyone knows where everything's at. Fourth pillar is the agency systems radar. This is KPI tracking. So I want owners to wake up every single day knowing their numbers, right? Whether it's for their clients or for their own business. And the fifth pillar is putting in a proper talent acquisition system in place. Because for me personally, like for agencies, since we deliver a service, we're going to need people to deliver on that service, right? And you want A players on your team. And so we kind of set up like a hiring funnel for them, right? In order to attract those A players, if that makes sense.
Right, absolutely. So looking at those 5 pillars, are you mainly advising agency owners how to implement this, or is this like a done for you kind of service where you are doing the actual work?
It's done with you that leans towards done for you. And so here's kind of like what happened, right? At the start, we were like, yeah, let's just advise clients on what to do. We did that. And then we saw that a lot of the clients that we were attracting didn't have time, or at least they think they don't have time, right? So we were like, well, how can we get better results for clients? Well, let's just do it for them, right? So it's done with you in a sense where it's like we ask clients to watch videos to understand the systems that we're putting in. We need to get input from the client. But once those 2 things are done, our team comes in and actually builds it, right? Because, dude, what I found is like most agency owners, like they don't want to create SOPs. It's like, it's because it's tiring. Even I, like, even it's hard for me. So that's why it's a bit of a done for you program.
Okay. And how long does it actually take to implement all of the systems and the automations?
90 days.
Okay. And do you use a backend system like 𝗘𝗣𝗏 or something else, or do you have your own platform?
In terms of like where the work gets done, or like, well, let me answer that in 2 parts, right? When we work with clients, the program happens within Asana, right? So
Right.
that's where we track all of our tasks. But the
Right.
clients that we work with, they work with so many tools, right? 𝗚𝗿𝟏, Airtable, whatnot. So we try to work around that, although we do have suggestions. And honestly, 80% of the time, like our clients use 𝗚𝗿𝟏. But, we try to work around like what they currently use and create a system around that, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. So when an agency is at, say, 10K, right? Because I think getting to that first 10K is the first big milestone, and takes a lot of effort to get there. What's the difference between an agency that might be at 10K and 25K in your experience? Or do you find that they are very similar in terms of their challenges, and it's just a matter of one has more clients than the other, or is there more to it?
Well, first of all, if you're not at 10K yet, you got to work with Abul, right? But second, like, but second, dude, anywhere from 0 to 30K, the only issue that I've found is your offer, right? So the difference between, I'm curious to hear what you think too, but the difference between someone doing, let's say, 8K to 10K a month and someone doing 25K a month is that most probably the person that's at 25K, they were able to package up their offer, make it high ticket, and it's not, it's not customized every single time, right? There's a standard to it, right? And that's what I see people, scaling up to 100K a month, 250K a month. I have a client that's, they do 250K a month. They literally have one niche and one product, right? But I've also seen clients scale up to 200K where it's like they have 3 niches, right? But the difference is there's a standard to it, right? Rather than doing everything for everyone. Is that kind of like what you're seeing as well with the people?
That makes sense. I think, some people will be shocked to hear. I think you can get to 10K a month by accident. If you put in a lot of effort, you can get to 10K a month without really knowing what you're doing. Sometimes, you're favored by the location you're in, the competition's lower, you're, somewhere rural, people trust you, or you have a good network or whatever, you're well connected. I think, you can get to 10K a month without knowing what you're doing. When you try to scale beyond that, you need to think like an entrepreneur. You need to really kind of, as you say, have that dialed in offer that you can kind of productize and sell the service as a product, I suppose. And then, there's a lot of agencies out there that work in a single niche or multiple niches, but what you find common within them is they are serving, a key audience with an irresistible offer that people can't say no to. Now, I suppose, when someone deploys these systems, 90 days to get them live, how quickly do they actually see results? I mean, what do they need to do differently apart from having SOPs and processes and backend systems to grow their agency?
Well, here's one thing, like it doesn't take 90 days to like really experience the wins. Like typically 4 weeks in, like clients start to experience that win. I'll give you an example, right? Onboarding is a major thing. And we like to teach clients to really have like a red carpet onboarding experience because because if your clients feel that it's like a red carpet experience, like they're VIPs, they're going to stay on for a really long time, right? Which affects your LTV. And you've done this, so but typically 4 weeks in, what we try to do is automate a lot of the onboarding stuff and also put in the right structure and frameworks in place to kind of do your onboarding call, your launch call, your kind of check-ins, right? To make sure that that all kind of affects retention. So within the first 4 weeks, some of our clients, before working with us, they would manually have to send a welcome email. They would create all their Google folders and, all the admin stuff that will probably take an hour or two out of, your day. We'll automate all of that, right? So after the 4 weeks, when you onboard a client, it's like, you don't have to do anything, right? The welcome email gets sent automatically, folders get created, Asana gets created, all that good stuff, right? Next phase is, well, what does a person, what does an agency owner do during that onboarding call, right? Most of them, they just wing it. It's like, they just use that opportunity to get information. But the onboarding call is so important because that's where you set expectations. That's where you will get some referrals if they had a good experience right at the start. And that's where you just like kind of, because most of the time people have buyer's remorse. Like when you invest $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, it's like the minute after you're like,
what did I do?
Right. Like, so you want to kind of massage that, right? During that onboarding call, make them feel like, hey, we got you. We're your partners in this. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of you. Right. So typically first 4 weeks, you'll have that system in place and you already start experiencing, those wins.
Right. Okay. No, that's great. So I suppose acquisition is one part, the more important part is retention. What kind of systems do you build for your clients to help with retention? Obviously, the most important part is making sure the media buyer delivers the results if you're an ads agency. Now, if you mess that up, nothing else is going to make a difference. But, what else do you add into the mix to kind of keep, keep service at a high level?
Well, a couple of things, man. And you're right. Like even at our stage, like in our agency, like we manage millions of dollars in ad spend each month, but it's like we still, you don't know if you're gonna get the results by tomorrow, right? Like you can have your hypothesis, right? You can put in all the work, but it's like it's still up to the Facebook gods, right? So it's like there's always other areas that you can do to retain clients. And one of this is really over communication, right? We have this thing in our business, both for ARF and Augment, where it's like, if things aren't going well, over communicate, right? Over communicate. Let the client know that, hey, things aren't going well right now, but we're working on it. Here's what we're going to do, right? That's one thing, over communication. Second is, we like to give gifts to clients, right? Like when a client gets onboarded, I mean, what's a, $10, $20, $50 gift, right?
Yeah.
So we send them a gift. We keep track of their birthdays, special special occasions, right? We try to send in a wine or whatever it is. And I feel like that really helps, right? It's such a small thing, but like those are the little things that help out. And second is reporting, right? So we try to automate reporting as much as we can, but we believe in transparency, and our best clients, they appreciate that, right? They appreciate the transparency. Some people might think that, maybe they become nosy and they try to mess with the ads. I mean, that's never been a case for us, because we make it clear that we're the experts and we're just being transparent with them, right? So there's so many other things that you can do, but those are some that I've seen so far.
Okay. And I suppose in terms of real world results, what have you been able to help your clients achieve from a retention perspective, where obviously, maybe they were leaking clients out and then you implemented this and then something changed for them, Tell us about some of your success stories.
Yeah, I mean, retention is great, but for me, like, and for us, like in the company in ARF, right? The biggest wins for us is when a client can take either a weekend or a 7-day vacation without having to work, right? And we've seen that happen every single time, right? The client that I just spoke with the other day, I mean, he took a 7-day vacation, right? For the first time ever since starting his agency, and his team was just taking care of the work, right? And it just felt so good, right? It felt so good. Because in the end, like, we can earn all the money in the world, but if we can't, just stop and spend some time with the people that actually matter to us, right? Like, what's it for? Right. So that's been the biggest win for us. Obviously, retention, being able to double the retention, increase the contracts, right? We've seen clients, they used to like keep clients for just 2 to 3 months, and now like it's been 8 months, 9 months, and they're still there just because of the right systems, the right expectations. Those are like just secondary wins, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I couldn't have put it better, to be honest, and you're right. People build an agency because ultimately they want freedom. And if you are really tied down by everything 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, then have you really bought freedom or another job, I suppose, that pays maybe slightly better. So that's definitely a better way to look at results,
Yeah.
How much more freedom do you have? Finally, Franbeau, if someone wants to find out more about what you guys do or, get in touch with you, where's the best place to find you? 2
ways, man. Obviously, agencyrocketfuel.com. We've put as much information as we can about ourselves there, so people can just learn about us there. We also have a Facebook group, if that's cool to kind of drop here. We put a lot of training there. We probably have like 40, 50 hours worth of content about systems and all that, where you don't even have to work with us.
But I've never interacted, I'll be honest with you, right? And I'm not entirely sure. I'm in so many different Facebook groups. So
I know, right? There's like a million. 7-figure agency systems. It's such a long name. Like there's still like another line after that, but just search for 7-figure agency systems. The cover photo has like a rocket ship on it, so you'll know, right?
Yeah. Okay, now that's absolutely awesome. And I'm going to tag you on Facebook anyway, so people can just click through to your profile. But on that note, Franbeau Beduya. Thank you so much for your time.
Dude, this has been fun. Thanks so much.